For those that don't know me, my name is Faye Holland. I'm the founder of Cofinitive, which is the only PR and comms company that's based outside of London, here in Cambridge, that is dedicated to tech and innovation. And we're pretty proud of that. I'm also the creator of 21 to Watch for my many sins. It's now in its 5th year. We've had 1,435 applications. 754 of them have made the long list. 198 have been shortlisted. 105, including today's cohort, have made the top list of top 21s. In total, not including this year, they've raised £350 million, so a significant amount of money, and that doesn't include CMR Surgical. So Forbes, who featured 21 to Watch last year, said something that I think is really important. They said correlation isn't causation, but it suggests that those that make the list have legs. And I hope that you will all agree with that. So this year, we have a lot of exciting companies, people and things to share with you. They are a true reflection of the times that we're living in. So there are companies that you're going to hear from that are talking about Alzheimer's, or they're talking about cancer treatment, food security, many things around net zero. So we're going to hear from them. So the process is this. You have all got a brochure on your table. We're going to introduce the 7 people first of all, and they're going to come up in fast succession. So it's not a typical awards evening. They're going to come up one by one, and there is a huge timer at the back of the room. And when that timer hits 5 seconds, it goes red, which basically means they need to wrap up because the next person is going to kick them off the stage. Maybe not literally, just saying that. So it's going to go really fast. Don't clap after each individual person because we'll then welcome them back onto the stage. Then you can take photos, round of applause, and then we'll move on to the next group. Trust me, it goes really quickly. So if there's someone that you want to talk to, give them a tick, because then you can go and meet them at the next networking session. So without further ado, we're going to start with the people.
Hello, my name is Emma Frimpong. I was named the 2022 Young Women Engineer of the Year, and one of my personal missions is to promote engineering in young people, as well as particularly young women and young girls. And I do this through a lot of work with the Institutions of Engineering and Technology and the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. My other personal mission is to use that engineering to improve patients' lives and their well-being. And that's what I found when I joined 52 North Health, which is where I'm head of product development. At 52 North Health, we're working on a product called NutriCheck, which helps identify patients who are at risk of neutropenic sepsis, which is a fatal side effect of chemotherapy. We've got a platform device that we're working with Macmillan and the Sepsis Trust, and we're hoping to get this product onto the market, hopefully next year. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Broderick House, and I am working to make a future where food is sustainable, equitable, and nutritious. My research at the University of Cambridge is focusing on 2 parts to answer this extremely challenging question. The first is how to develop novel technologies to bring seafood to the city environment. So imagine the next time you're in London and you see the Shard, actually we're developing and farming seafood for your families and to help the population in terms of their vitamin support. I have 30 seconds, I'm nervous, here we are. How do we move on from that, right? So part of my research is also how to fortify these things with new feeds, right? So that we can support the development of mussels and oysters being fortified with micronutrients that 1/3 of the world is currently deficient in. A lot of my interest in also food security also comes from developing and founding the company Ethicos, which is working to bring this to home. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Coco Newton. I'm a neuroscientist and I'm focused on finding ways to detect dementia earlier. There are about 150 of us in the room, and based on current projections, maybe at least 50 of us will get dementia in our lifetimes. Most shocking, though, is that only one of us, one of those 50, would have access to a treatment if it were made available on the NHS tomorrow. My vision is to make sure that all 50 of us get access to the treatment we deserve. But to do this, we need better healthcare systems geared towards prevention of dementia, not reaction to it. To do this, we need innovation of new tools that can detect earlier stages of dementia. And to create the innovation, we need more crosstalk between patients, between clinicians, between academics and policymakers. I'm going to be the node of that network that brings those people together through my research and my spin-out Fathom Cognition. Thank you.
Everyone. I'm Elena Chishmiju. I'm the CEO and co-founder of NeuroXR. And honestly, I really struggled to make this speech mainly because it was so hard to condense everything that we've achieved in NeuroXR so far. And XR was born out of a crazy idea made by 2 clueless students in our university rooms. And now it has grown to an amazing technology nurtured by an incredible team. I'm really grateful to be sharing this award not only with my co-founder who's in the room and also the CFT team who has allowed us to grow. And thank you to the judges for recognizing my work and allowing me to showcase not only through the technology, but through NeuroXR that you can start a business and innovate and create new technology regardless of age, background, and physical ability. Thank you.
So, 1 in 2 people will develop some form of cancer in their lives. So everyone in this room, I'm sure, has been touched by cancer in some way, either themselves or through a loved one. And you may have witnessed some of the horrific and certainly grueling treatments that they have to endure. So there's a desperate need for new and better medicines. At PharmEnable, we're on a mission to develop targeted oral therapies that are both highly effective and also have less side effects, and in particular for cancer with limited treatment options. PharmEnable is an AI-enabled drug discovery company focused on chemical novelty and complexity to deliver the next generation of small molecule cancer drugs. I'm Dr. Hannah Saw, the CEO and co-founder. We've recently raised our 2nd funding round, and we have an exciting opportunity for the right investor to join our rolling close. Thank you. Come and see me.
In 2014, we met with this gentleman who was saying, I'm really happy right now, but I may not be able to show my smile because I've got Parkinson's, and it took away my smile. Since then, our goal was to bring smiles back for people with Parkinson's. Unfortunately, there are 10 million people around the world who are suffering from Parkinson's day to day. Every 30 minutes, there will be someone who will be diagnosed with Parkinson's. We are developing a wearable device that delivers focused fibrotactile stimulation together with cueing to improve their movement. And currently, there is over 11,000 people who are waiting on the list to get the device that Jaco is currently delivering. Thanks to the whole ecosystem from Cambridge and all the UK, actually, we were able to deliver 800 devices to people now, and we're massively scaling up. And this year, it's all about scaling up to get the devices for people to bring the smile. So please do talk to us, and thank you very much for the award. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Silicon carbide semiconductors are enabling net zero targets through the electrification of transport and the generation of renewable energy. However, there is a need for innovation along the value chain to meet the unique demands of silicon carbide wafer manufacture. My team and I at Advanced Furnace Technology in Cambridge are creating novel products and services to support high-yield manufacture of silicon carbide wafers. And we're doing this by developing thin film coatings that ensure stable growth conditions for those wafers. And that is essential for defect-free wafers, which is therefore also important for ramp up in this market. If you have an interest in this area, please come and find me. Let's connect, have a conversation. Thanks very much.
It's amazing how much information you can actually get across in 60 seconds. I think you all did spectacularly. And what's also really important is the work that you're doing. You know, it's very humbling, a lot of the things that you are doing, so thank you. We're often asked how submissions are made to 21 to Watch, and so just to quickly explain that, people can nominate themselves, so we have a fair few that self-nominate, but the vast majority come through recommendation, whether that be through people within the ecosystem, whether that's their investors or people that are on the board. You know, we get a lot of the chair people that nominate the individuals and their companies to 21 to Watch. We also do a lot of desk research into who's out there, what's happening, and what kind of people should be profiled. There's no fee for anyone to do this and to be part of 21 to Watch. The sole aim of what we're trying to do here is raise the profile of people, companies and things early on in their journey and hope that the ecosystem then lifts them up. Everyone who makes the shortlist is, everyone who makes the long list is then judged, and they're judged on 5 criteria, which is innovation, challenge, influence, viability, memorability, and we also research them on third-party platforms like Crunchbase, Companies House, and those types of things. So we end up with a long list, which then, due to the mathematical nature of the calculation, ends up being a short list. And we have a couple of people from our sponsors and partners each year that rationalise that list. Because we've got to be sure that companies that are on the long list, that should be on the short list, move around a little bit. And this year we had Maria Payman from Burkitt's and David Sloman from Ashton's Legal helping with that piece of work. And they honestly have a horrible job because that is a big list to go through. We then have judges who rotate, and actually there's quite a few of you in this room tonight who have been judges in the past as well, and I bet you're breathing a huge sigh of relief that I didn't ask you to do it again. So this year we had Maximilian G from Epoch at the University of Cambridge. We had Hannah Jabodo, who's managing partner at Sana Capital, Tom Britton, co-founder of Syndicate Room, and John Stenhouse, who runs the innovation ecosystem at the University of Essex. So it's a tough job, and I thought it actually might be quite interesting if we asked Hannady if you would just say a couple of words about what it's like to judge these companies and what you felt of this year's cohort. Hannady.
So thank you very much, Faye, for putting together this great evening. And I'd like you all to say thank you to Faye before we carry on. Come on, thank you. Thank you. So I've been to quite a few of those, and we say thank you to everyone, but we always forget to say thank you to Faye. So I wanted to make sure that we started by saying thank you to Faye. So I didn't say thank you to Faye when she said, "Hey, would you do that?"
I'm sure you did. Oh, no, okay.
And I did when you sent the email. I said, "Oh, thank you for thinking of me." But then I saw the list, and I was like, "Oh my God, they are all so amazing. How am I supposed to choose? How am I supposed to judge? And who am I to judge those amazing people?" I gave a talk, Please Don't Boo, at UCL to a group of PhD students and postdocs. And they were looking at big things, but they didn't have big visions. And they annoyed me a bit. So I said to them, dream big or go home. And every single person who entered this year actually had a big dream, a big vision. And you heard it from them, you know, big problems, dementia, cancer, food security. And they're all tackling it, and it's happening here, and it's fostered by an amazing ecosystem. So it's not an easy judge. It's not an easy job to be a judge. And it actually reminds you to be a little bit humble and brings a lot of humility. So as an evil venture capitalist, I see about 1,000 or 1,500 pitches a year, and I say no to all of them, basically, only say yes to a handful. And it's a very hard job, but it's not as hard as actually looking at people who are as inspiring as the people who are nominated, and to actually give your opinion, because it's not a judgment. How easy is it to be looking at entries and how hard it is to actually be doing what you are doing. I'd like to finish with something that I hadn't realized until the 7 nominees stood up, and I'd like to invite them to stand up again, please. Could you please all stand up one more time, please, for me? And if you could turn around and face us. I'd like to thank Broderick to be our token male. Please, can we say thank you to Broderick? I keep on saying the future is female. Only 2% of female founders get founded. Look at the quality you've got in front of you, including Broderick. Look at that quality. And let's make sure that we're going to change the landscape. And it starts here at Cofinitive with every single one of you in the ecosystem. Thank you again, Faye, and thank you, and well done to every single one of you.
Thanks, Hannah. Okay, so we're now going to move on and hear from the next 7, which are the companies. And so exactly the same format as before, starting with Felix.
So hello everyone, my name's Felix Dobbs and I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO at Broken String Biosciences. So at Broken String, we have a vision of a future where gene editing therapies can be safely delivered to all that need it. And this new class of therapeutics has the potential to be absolutely transformational for patients because it directly cures disease at the genetic level. With then this transformational new therapeutic class comes a key challenge still in the field relating to the off-targets that can be introduced when these therapeutics go into the patient. And at Broken String, we're building a platform to address this problem with a next generation sequencing approach to really measure this in the genome. We're working with leaders in the field to help them enhance their gene editing therapies and safely move them to the clinic. And finally, I'd just like to finish by thanking our investors who have got us to where we are today and thanking the team for working so hard over the last couple of years. Thank you.
The most abundant plastics in the world are actually causing us no problem whatsoever, and that's because they're circular and sustainable. Mother Nature designed them that way, and she's invested 4 billion years into that R&D. We at CSP take inspiration from her, and we believe it's long overdue that we relaunch plastics for a smart and sustainable future. We work with major corporates to rethink and redesign their materials, but I think we're here today because of the breakthroughs we've had with our biopolymer. This plastic is transparent and flexible. In fact, you wouldn't know much different about it. It looks like every other plastic in the world, except that it's completely biodegradable and truly compostable, even at home. We didn't just stop there. We're smart plastics after all. We added gas and moisture barrier properties to this, which means not just use in packaging, but multi-layer packaging and metal-lined packaging can also be replaced. Our journey started just 3 years ago. If you'd like to join us on that or support us in the journey, come find us after the show. Thank you very much.
Hi there. My name's Simon Jones. I'm from Helio Display Materials, and I'm such an honour to be here with these wonderful people. I'm dealing in display materials, so let me explain a little bit about that. So about 10 years ago, Professor Henry Snaith was working away in Oxford University, and he discovered some really amazing materials, metal halide perovskites. What was amazing? Well, they are very interesting optical semiconductors, and they have the potential to completely revolutionize displays. And Henry realized that, and he contacted his old professor that's at Cambridge University, that's Richard Friend. And Richard is one of the founding fathers of the OLED industry. So together, Henry and Richard, they wrote some amazingly fundamental and broad IP and founded a company. And that company is Helio, and we're the first spin-out from Oxford and Cambridge. So we make displays brighter, more colourful, lower power. That's what we're about at Helio. Thank you very much.
starting till this hits here, okay? It started already. So thank you so very much to the judging committee and all of the people who worked so hard to process 1,000 applications. It's humbling. My name's John Archer, and I'm very proud to accept this award on behalf of our whole team, who sadly can't all be here because there's only 2 tickets a shot. At Hootan Bio, we're on a mission to decarbonise long-distance transportation. Whilst electric cars, great for short journeys, you simply cannot carry enough energy with you for intercontinental flight, nor, critically, for transoceanic cargo shipping. So we're using algae to produce carbon-negative fuel, which will drop straight into existing supply chains to make fuel for lorries, planes, and ships. Unlike palm and soy oil, our technology is deployed in deserts. We don't drive deforestation. We don't cause food poverty. And we don't use fresh water. We don't use it at all. We grow our algae in enclosed photobioreactors using waste salt water and seawater, and doing what nature has done for 2 billion years, use sunlight to capture CO2 and turn it into fuel. So our success, built on 10 years of academic research, is now into the commercial phase. We're now raising our seed fund, and I invite you, if you would like to join our journey, talk to myself and Paul. Thank you so very much. Was I upside down? No?
Good evening. My name's Alison Rawlinson, and I'm the head of marketing at QKine. And it's an absolute privilege to be here today to accept this award on behalf of the whole team. In the last 12 months, we've more than doubled in size, and it's easy to see why. We have a female CEO, a balanced leadership team, and we also sell and ship to 28 countries globally via a network of distributors. All of these things make QKine an absolutely inspiring place to work, and with this, we're recruiting still for lab, commercial, and operation positions. So that just leaves me to say that we're very grateful to receive this 21 to Watch nomination, but even more proud that we've won. And I would like to invite you to keep a close eye on QKine whilst we are on our path of rapid and sustainable growth. And I can guarantee that there'll be a lot more milestones that we'll achieve. Thank you.
Hello. I am delighted that Roadville has been listed in the 21 to Watch this year by Cofinitive. Thank you, Faye. And I want to dedicate this award to my team who is here today. In Roadville, we support equal opportunities and diversity, and we take these matters very seriously. We embrace everybody, including ex-offenders in our team, and we treat them exactly the same way as everybody else, helping them to grow within our team. We wouldn't be here without them, so this is all about them today. For those who don't know me, I am Christy. I am the founder and director of Roadville Limited, and we use waste plastics to repair and relay roads, helping the local authorities reduce carbon footprint. That's all. Thank you. Bye.
So, good evening. I'm Adam Collier. I'm the Chief Business Officer of Spirea Limited, based in Cambridge. Spirea has developed an exciting new technology which will result in a new generation of anti-cancer drugs to treat these devastating diseases. Our drugs will treat cancer more selectively, more effectively, and without many of the distressing side effects that we all know too well comes with cancer treatment. Our technology is highly innovative, and we are currently in early stage collaborations, discussions with a major pharmaceutical company, so fingers crossed that that's going to go through. So far, we have raised £3.5 million from specialist and very supportive UK and US investors, and we've generated a lot of exciting data demonstrating the huge potential of the technology. I should thank everyone for the award that we're receiving tonight. And I should also say that I'm here instead of our CEO, who's on maternity leave, and I'm sure she would love to have been here in my place. So we'd be delighted to meet with companies and potential investors who'd like to talk to us and maybe work with us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Am I allowed to say there's always one? And he even heckled he only got 2 tickets. I mean, what do you say? No, seriously though, what was really interesting about that, again, very different industries, very different sectors, tackling very different problems. But also what I found interesting about the 7 companies, they were at different stages as well. Some of them are much longer placed, some of them are much more immediate. So I thought they were all very interesting. Next of all, I would actually like to talk a moment about the ecosystem. You can see from the wall behind me and the brochure in your hands, you know, we get a huge amount of support for 21 to Watch, which I'm very humbled by, in all honesty. We've been going now, as I said earlier on, for 5 years. There are 2 companies that have supported us from the start, and I would like to give them a shout out. That's both Burkitt's and Pennington's Manchets Cooper, but they were followed very closely behind by HSBC, Foresight Group, and the Entrepreneurship Centre at Cambridge Judge Business School. Ultimately, we welcome all companies that want to propel this ecosystem and to help them to grow. So, you know, we're definitely interested in having ongoing conversations. The thing that you don't realise, because it happens behind the scenes, is all of those sponsors and partners give value to the Top 21 worth tens of thousands of pounds. So whether that be advice or workshops or meeting space or office space, you know, there's a whole host of different things that they do that really help them. So thank you to all of our sponsors and partners. The first year I read them out. This year I'm not going to do that. So please just do recognise that on the board behind me. I would like to also talk to, if I can, one of our previous winners. So back in 2021, Callium Health was a winning company. And Tom is brilliant. I go to events and if he's in the room, I don't even bother introducing myself. I just let Tom talk. But I thought it'd be really nice, Tom, if you just stand up and just say a few words about where were you up to as a business and what 21 to Watch was like for you.
Thanks, Faye. So Faye's very generously offered me the chance to say a few words tonight on behalf of Callium Health, on behalf of our whole company, including my 3 female co-founders, who Hannah knows well. What Faye hasn't told me is whether her timer is running, so I'll make this...
It's always running.
I'll make this quick. So I spent some time trying to list out 3 things that I think are really special about this event. But firstly, I'd just like to recap where we've come from as a company. So as some of you will know, Callium Health spun out of the University of Cambridge 3 years ago with the aim of making it much easier to deliver personalised care for people living with chronic kidney disease. So chronic kidney disease is something that will affect 1 in 7 of us. It can be devastating to live with. It's also really complex and really, really costly for healthcare systems to manage. Yet it's still managed quite traditionally with relatively infrequent blood tests that only normally happen in clinical settings. So our focus is on personalising this care using our blood monitoring technology to provide patients themselves with important information that they need about their health in real time. And our vision is really to transform the management of kidney disease and also to create value in what we feel is a strongly underserved area of clinical need. So starting in 2020, we've been working hard to develop our blood sensing technology. We raised seed funding from some fantastic local investors, some of who are here tonight, and follow-on funding at the end of last year. And we've got some really exciting opportunities ahead. But throughout our whole journey so far, the Cambridge ecosystem has been tremendously important to us. And as somebody who's moved away from Cambridge and then moved back to Cambridge, I really recognise the value of supportive networks. And that's really epitomised by 21 to Watch and this event. So my top 3 special things about the event are, firstly, a platform. So as a new, no-name startup, it's really difficult to make your voice heard. And participating in 21 to Watch and receiving the award in 2021 on Zoom has given us a platform that we couldn't have got anywhere else. Secondly, it's about prestige. So we've just taken new offices in the north of Cambridge that we're in the process of filling. And it's really nice to be able to welcome new recruits into the office. And the first thing they see when they walk through the door is our bright green cofinitive award. And it was very bright green that year. And finally, it's all about people. So coming together to celebrate at events like this is immensely powerful. And after the last couple of years, I think we all value the opportunity this brings to make new connections. So thanks again to Faye and the whole cofinitive team for making this happen.
Thanks, Tom. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And so the things that Tom has just shared with us actually got him back on the list again this year. So it doesn't always happen, but he was back on the list and very happy to be so. Which takes me to one other point, and then we're going to hear from the things. If you look at the list, the top 21 are the ones that have come out at the top, but believe me, there are lots of companies. 138 companies in total are on that long list, and there are some diamonds in there. So when we start this and it goes live each September, we expect, you see a certain company and you're like, they're going to be top 21. That doesn't necessarily happen. So my plea to you is, let's celebrate the top 21, but let's look at some of the others on the long list as well. So I'm going to name a few: Sanomi, Cetagenomics, Wave Photonics, Viridian Seeds, Medwise, Vision Intelligence. You may not know these companies, but go look at the long list because they might be sitting here next year. So we're now going to move on to the final category, the things. I'm going to carry on my tea bag theme. This side, please, thank you. And we're going to carry on. There are actually no, I'm not carrying it on. There are no tea bags in the things innovations this time, but I think you'll find that there's some real game-changing innovations in there.
Good evening. It's great to be with you tonight to accept this award. Thank you so much on behalf of myself, Dr. Steve Clark. I'm joined by my CTO, Mike Hall, here today. We're in the market of making sensing technologies that support drones. Drones services are growing rapidly in the UK and internationally, providing services as diverse as delivering NHS supplies, remote inspection of power lines, wind farms, agricultural crop control, and of course, logistics. In fact, PwC have said there'll be 900,000 drones commercially in use in the UK by the 2030. It's a huge market, but it'll only really take off if these machines, these drones, can operate without oversight of a ground-based pilot. And this is where Sensoris come in. We manufacture designed, patented micro-radar systems to unlock this capability. We completed a seed round last year. We're starting Series A in the coming months, and we've got products on the market, and it's been quite a ride. Thank you for your time. Come and speak to me later. That one, go ahead. Sorry.
There are millions of buildings like the one we are finding ourselves in here today, and they come with an inherent risk. And that comes from the water systems. Some of you may have heard about Legionella, but it's a bacteria which can build up in very slow-flowing, lukewarm systems. And if it builds up, it can give you a very serious form of pneumonia with a very high mortality rate. The good news is it's very easy to mitigate. Keep your water hot enough, cold enough, keep it flowing. The problem is, as an owner of a property, how do I know what's happening in my system? And what happens? Thousands of engineers, facilities managers, cleaners have to traipse around buildings like these and go out and test temperatures monthly, make manual entries in data logs, flush showers, taps, etc. We at InfoSense thought there must be a better way of doing this. And we thought, you know what? We should be able to do this remotely. And this is what we've developed, a machine learning enabled remote flown temperature sensor It can be deployed in your water system and then keep your system and your building safe, sustainable, and much more cost effective. The InfoSense team is currently raising money to launch the product on the UK market, and we're very much looking forward to building our team and finally getting this product into the hands of our customers. Thank you.
Over 300,000 public EV charge points are required by 2030 to meet the 8 million plus UK households that park on street. Existing charging technology is hugely compromised. It's too expensive, not feasible, and too complicated. Existing EV chargers just don't cut it. Kirby is an innovative on-street charging solution that is more affordable, easier to scale, resilient to vandalism and damage, and actually installable on every UK street. The UK market is 8 million households at least, but the European and global market is open to us too. And we'd love to hear from all people who are as passionate about decarbonising transport as we are. Please feel free to come and contact us and have a chat afterwards. Thank you.
The world is going electric. We just heard that. The reality is that transport is one of the biggest sources of emissions, and along with local air quality, it means that we need to drive more electric cars. So quickly, who drives an electric car in the room tonight? Ooh, above average. About 2% of people in the UK currently drive electric cars, and that's fairly common across Europe. But let's take Alice, who runs a fleet of hundreds of electric cars. In 2027, she's got pain from receipts, she's got pain from finding chargers, time wasted, time spent with drivers, recharging when actually they should actually be back doing the job they need to do. So what we're doing at Power is building an intelligent platform to enable the optimization of electric fleets, bringing data together from thousands of connected devices. There are now more charge point locations in the Power application than there are petrol stations in the UK. So my call to action for you tonight is, if you're interested in driving an electric car, speak to one of those people or come and speak to me afterwards. Thank you for your time.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Fran Crawford. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SomaServe. Apparently we have a thing. Our thing is actually called Polynaut, which is a sophisticated polymer technology. It's a nanovesicle, and we use Polynaut to encapsulate genetic materials such as DNA, such as RNA, and we can deliver them very precisely to the cells that we choose. Why do we want to do that? Well, we want to do it to solve a problem that pharma has. Pharma are very interested in delivering genetic materials, but they can't do it. The materials work, but they don't get to the site of action. Polynaut is a small hollow ball with a brush-like surface on which we put ligands, peptide ligands, which navigate it to the site and the cell of action. We also have a shuttling technology called GO2. The features are that we're non-immunogenic, that we are very, very stable, that we are squeezable, that we penetrate biological barriers such as the blood-brain barrier, and the icing on our cake is that we have targeting for specific cells. Thank you.
Well now, hello there. I'm Hermione, I'm the CEO of Permetrics, and I'm worried that my award is going to fall over. So we have 23 million homes in this country that contribute more than a fifth of the UK's carbon footprint. Making them more energy efficient is vital if we want to meet our net zero targets, protect people's health, and avoid fuel poverty for people living in these homes. But existing techniques for deciding which homes to prioritise and what works in retrofit are inaccurate, they're disruptive, they're really hard to scale. So a whole new class of measurement tools is now needed to retrofit these homes. WarmScore uses environmental data and powerful software to measure housing and heating performance so that we can decarbonise homes without sacrificing comfort. We're working with social housing landlords across the country to support their retrofit projects and have funding to deliver software tools for the fast-growing heat pump market. Our vision is that in 10 years' time, no one, no homeowner, no landlord, no contractor, no architect will make decisions on upgrading homes without proper measurement of their performance, and then we'll all reap the rewards in terms of greener, healthier, lower-cost homes.
Hello, I'm Abiel from Huala, company working to make food waste recycling easy. This is enabled by our innovation, which automatically liquefy and separate food waste from any other waste, turning them into raw material for energy production within hours on site. With our innovation, food waste are being treated on site, which can then be stored up to a month, even more than a month, reducing 95% of labor and logistic costs, while achieving 75% of CO2 reduction. Huala has obtained a 3-year waste treatment permit by the Environmental Agency and will be running 4 pilots in Cambridge, starting with Bradfield Centre in Cambridge Science Park. Huala is backed with funding support from Innovate UK, Homerton College and Trinity College, and is currently raising pre-seed. Thank you.
So hands up if that's like the quickest awards ceremony you've ever been to. And it's really hard to not clap, is it? So you're not in trouble if you did clap, it's fine. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to actually pick up on one thing that Niall said, and he said above average. And, you know, that really is what we're looking for with 21 to Watch. So I'm hoping all of you with your little handouts have ticked a few people that you're going to go and speak to in the break. Now, whilst I have you all, I have 3 things that I kind of want to share with you. The first is, again, the point of 21 to Watch is to give all of these people and companies and their activities some profile. So this Sunday, 21 to Watch is going to be on Cambridge Tech Podcast. That can happen because I co-host it, which is a nice little shoe-in. But if you haven't listened to it, please do. You know, sign up on your chosen podcast channel and do listen into the episode this weekend. The second thing is, I hope you've all heard about Cambridge Tech Week. This is taking place on the 8th to the 12th of May. There's a core conference, you know, a core centre of it, and then there's a lot of fringe activities. One of the other things that they're running is something called Innovation Alley, which is most definitely right up the street of the majority of startups in this room. Chris, who I can spot at the back, quick wave Chris, is here, and he's available to talk to you if you're interested in participating. And I haven't asked this of Chris, so please don't tell me off. If there's anyone that wants to do it, but the fee is an issue, then Cofinitive would be willing to sponsor you to get you into that Innovation Alley as well. So just talk to both of us, and I'm sure between us we can get a fair few of you in that alley. The final one is Innovate Cambridge. So this is a specific activity for Cambridge, and it's about creating and crafting what the innovation vision should be. So they have 400 companies that are involved in and have signed a charter in let's do this, let's make it work. From my point of view, it is vitally important that people like you in the room actually complete that, because you are going to be the future employers. You are going to be dictating what future technologies need to be. So please do go to the Innovate Cambridge website. I did it yesterday. It's really easy, and you instinctively as a business owner know what those answers are going to be for you. It takes less than 5 minutes, so please do fill that in. So they're my 3 plugs. So to close, huge thank you and congratulations to our Top 21 2023. I'm going to get them all back on the stage, and we can do one huge group shot before we go back out for networking. And to our long list who are here and some of our alumni as well, huge thank you to you and to our sponsors and partners. Thank you to Gemma, who's hiding up in the top, Carol and Emma, who magically make all, I stand here, they make it all happen. So I have to say a huge thank you to them. And Sophie and Claire, who've run front of house for me this evening. Most of all, the thank you goes to you. You know, you support this initiative. We are a micro company doing big things, but we can only do it because you all come and support us. And not just us, you support these companies that are emerging. So thank you very much, genuinely, to all of you. That's it. We are pretty much done in 45 minutes. And we're only 45 minutes because some of them didn't stick to their 60-second time, but that's fine. Control freakedness coming out here. So we've got drinks and nibbles still for another 45 minutes or so, but let's for now just welcome all of our Top 21 free for all back on the stage with a huge round of applause. Thank you, everyone.